All right, welcome back. For those of you who want to ask questions too, I'm not doing questions at this point in the webcast, but if you're interested in asking me SQL Server, Azure SQL DB questions, you can hit the URL that's over there over at the top right, polgab.com/room/Brento, and then that's where people can upvote questions, and then we take the highest voted ones for each stream. I did that at the first like 20 minutes of the stream. There's nothing in the queue now. I won't be doing them today. I'll go back to doing pull requests, but then you'll see me hit them in a future stream. So let's hop back over to RDP. So back over in RDP, all right, so the next one, Super Cyberall, good to see you. DK Kimbo says, what about Databricks questions? Let's see, next up, so now I've been going top down so far, but all these are by Montreux, and so what I'm going to do, because Montreux was working through the same stored procedure multiple times, I'm actually going to start at his oldest one and go up. So add an informational message about skipping checks. In SP Blitz, the server health check, depending on certain triggers, like if you're in Amazon RDS, we won't run certain checks. We'll skip certain checks because they're irrelevant to Amazon RDS or to Azure SQL DB managed instances or whatever. So he has an issue in here that says, we're now checking permissions and skipping checks if the user isn't a sysadmin. However, the user isn't informed. So let's add a line telling the user that not all checks may have been executed because the user is not part of the sysadmin role. Love it. Makes total sense. So if I look at the pull request for this, what's he doing? He's saying if sysadmin equals 0, SA equals 0, SA is a variable. That one is short, but it's actually accurate. If you're not a sysadmin, then he's going to go insert and say, hey, the user that you're running it as isn't part of the sysadmin role, so we skip some checks. I love it. That makes perfect sense. Let's go take a look at the code. So this is all new code here that wasn't present before. If sysadmin equals 0, insert these lines in Blitz results. Blitz results is a temp table. The way that SP Blitz works is we just run one check after another, and each time we find a problem in SQL Server, we just throw a line into SP or into Blitz results. And then at the end of the entire stored procedure, we return all the lines from Blitz results, telling them everything that's wrong with the server. So this looks pretty straightforward. I'm not even going to try and test this one because it's pretty straight. It's just it's a no-brainer. So I'm just going to say copy paste in. Thanks for the pull request. Looks good. Love it. Smells fantastic. And then we are going to assign that one to Montreux. We are going to call that SP Blitz period. We'll put that in the December milestone. And then we will merge that pull request. Love it. And just make sure that that is also in the December release. That is about SP Blitz. Montreux is assigned. And put a little note down here in the bottom. I always want people who read the issues to understand that, yes, I actually looked at them. Beautiful. Love it. All right, next up. Next says moved the XP reg read calls back to the check and add some messages to the... I don't even understand what this means. Let's go take a look at the issue inside of it. We have permissions checks are not working as attending. Oh, I do remember this. When it came live, this did not work well at all. XP reg read does not play nice in a try catch block, so we just have to swallow those errors. They're not breaking anything, but they just annoy me in the messages tab. And then clarify the permissions check for MSDB. That's really interesting. I have no idea what caused that. So let's go and look to see what he changed. All right, so he took away the variables for the... What? Oh, all of a sudden, my remote desktop's acting super slow. He took away variables for the power stuff? Was that intentional, or did he move them elsewhere? He did. He moved them elsewhere. Now they're declared inside of here. Okay, that's fine. And then they're only probably also used inside of there too. Okay, that's, oh, neat. Oh, he added an unknown CPU speed. I like that. That's good. Okay, so at first glance, I like this a lot. So let's go get the raw version of it. View file. Before I get the raw version of it, I'm going to run the current version of SP Blitz. SP Blitz check server info equals 1. I'm going to run it and see that the currently released version of it actually shows the CPU speed or not. Let's go down and see. So this should show, but let's see here. It is not showing the CPU speed. So I think that's the bug that he was trying to fix, is it doesn't show how fast the processors are. Okay, perfect. So let's see if his new version of it shows how fast the processors are. Let's copy all that out, paste, new, paste, and go run that. And we're looking to see, it's taking suspiciously long. Let's come down a little bit. Yay, it does. I saw it right away, right there. Perfect, fantastic. So now it shows that the server has 2.9 gigahertz and is in high performance power mode. Beautiful, absolutely love it. So that works. I'm happy with it. Let's come over to here and give it the thumbs up. Copy. And credit this to, oh, I gotta put in my review. Review, paste, approve, and let's merge it. Merge it like it's hot. This was a bug in SP Blitz, and the milestone is this month's release. It is assigned to Montreux, and whoops, that's not what I meant to click on. Back over here, merge the pull request. And then come over to here and paste. And let's tag Montreux in it. SP Blitz, it was a bug. And this is Montreux. And I probably don't have to do these twice, but it's just one of those where I've always done that, and that is what it is. Next up, expand. Oh, you should notice too, I'm skipping this one. So I've had this on the back burner for a really long time, and I'm not fixing that today. It's one of those where I will fix it at one point in time. Expanded MSDB permissions checks. The permissions check was too broad and didn't work as intended. One can see the objects in the database, but may not be able to query the system tables. Oh, this is interesting. So with SP Blitz, over the last few months, or really like last 6 months, Eric Darling and Montreux 1981 have been working on making SP Blitz more friendly or more lower permissions capable for non-sysadmin users, so that people who aren't sysadmin can run it and still get as much information as possible out of the SQL Server. One of the gotchas with this is you might be able to see some system databases, but not others. And so when this change first came out in SP Blitz, all we did was look to see if you could query MSDB. And if you could, then we said, yep, you're good to go on MSDB. But here he's checking a little more thoroughly and saying, can we look at the MSDB objects and can we look at the jobs? So that makes sense. I'm not going to set up a user that doesn't have permission in MSDB. All I'm going to do is go scan down through and see if this stuff looks like it makes sense, and it does. That's all fine. That all looks fine. So let's go get the raw version of this and then see if it just at least runs and compiles, or compiles and runs. I suppose I should say it in the right order. And then put that in, paste, execute. And as long as it compiles and runs, I'm kind of fine with it. Let's see here. There we go. It ran. So then, and I'll just glance over at messages. Yep, there's nothing in there about throwing a problem. So we're going to take that exactly as is. So we're going to say the assignee is Montreux. I forgot to do a review. Let's do that real quick. Oh, default blame acceptor. Good to see you. I'm just about finishing up too. Approve. And then let's tag. It is the December milestone, and it is SP Blitz. And then merge that pull request. Then make sure that the issue got closed and the issue is credited in the right release. Yep, that's cool. Paste. Oh, I already did that one. I think he did it to linked multiple pull requests, the same issue. Either that or he did the wrong issue. Nope. Okay, good. We're fine. Next one. Add a check for SP get alert info. I'll tell you a secret. I don't know what that is. SP get alert info. I had no idea. Oh, this one has conflicts. Let's go take a look and see if the conflicts are easy. Oh, God, this is because he moved the frickin' variables around. I'm just going to say, can you resolve the conflicts between this and your other changes first? Sorry about that. And then comment. And then we'll go back over to the, could I do that? Absolutely. But some of what a maintainer's job is to teach people how to make their pull requests get along so that they don't make any unnecessary changes, like moving things around when they really don't need to move around. So that'll remind them that, hey, let's keep things consistent inside the code in order to make everybody else's job as easy as possible maintaining it. Okay, so this one was really good. Okay, there were 2 separate checks for instant file initialization. So there used to be, SQL Server didn't used to give you an easy way to check to see if instant file initialization was enabled. You had to go through the error log and look for the term instant file initialization enabled or something like that. And so we could tell you for sure if it was enabled, but if that line wasn't there, we didn't know for sure that it wasn't enabled because maybe you'd cycled the error log, for example. Then, years later, Microsoft was having those same problems, so they added new columns to system DMVs that would definitively tell you if instant file initialization was loaded or not. So we ended up having 2 checks in SP Blitz to figure out if instant files initialization was enabled or not. Let's see how he tried to merge it into the code. So I'm not worried about the stuff on the left. All I'm really interested in is the stuff over on the right. And oh boy, oh yeah. Okay, all right. So let's see how this goes. Need a sip of my tasty beverage. I'm gonna need something more than Diet Coke here. He says, if exists, skip checks. Okay, that's fine. I'm not going to explain that inside of here. Declare some settings for instant file initialization. I hate this. Super Cyber says time for margaritas. I hate this. So I don't like to try catch to see whether or not you can select columns to see if they exist. What I'd much rather do is say, if exists, stuff from select all columns, from sys all columns. So I'm not a really wild fan of this. Okay, so we'll say, let's scroll down and see what happens. So he's saying, begin catch. If we couldn't get IFI from server services, go read the error logs. If read logs failed, go use RDS. That's fine. That works. Amazon RDS has a special stored procedure that you have to use if you want to query the error log. You can't use XP error log. They ban you from permissions for that. My guess is that they're doing something inside of the error log that they don't want other people to see, which is completely fine. That's totally okay as a hosting partner. So then they're doing the work. He's doing the work for RDS to go read the error log, looking for that string about instant file initialization enabled. If it's there, go load it into the error log. Into the error log. Okay, all right, that's cool. Okay, that's cool. I like that. And then he's checking, I would bet. If exists, so now insert into. Okay, that's cool. So what he's doing is he's checking to see if the rows come back saying that it's enabled. But, and DK Kimbo says, wouldn't RDS instances be new enough to have IFI in the DMVs? I don't think they do. I think 2012 and 2014 are still available out there, and I don't think that they had that column in there. We don't have anything in there. Oh, no, no, no. Okay, let's go back up a little. I was going to say, it doesn't look like there's a no, it's not present kind of thing. He says, okay, if not exists, and IFI setting is no, then go load it is not enabled. I wish we didn't still have two checks. I wish we still didn't have IFI disabled and IFI enabled as two separate checks. But I'm kind of okay with that because it'll mimic the same behavior that we already have. Okay, and I also kind of like the top one is a priority 50, which means it's kind of urgent, saying, yo, instant file initialization is not enabled. Then if it is enabled, we're using a much lower priority warning to tell you that is enabled. I like this. I guess I like it overall. So let's go get the raw version of it and make sure that it compiles and works. I don't honestly know if this VM that I'm on has IFI turned on. I would hope it does, but I would not be surprised if it doesn't. Let's go see here. So it's not in the priority 50 set. Let's go down to 250, and it is. So here, instant file initialization is enabled. Okay, good. It's kind of nice to have. All right, so it works. I'll take it. Let's see here. This is assignee is Montreux. Reviewer is, I guess the reviewer is me. I'll do a quick review. I'm going to say looks good. One of the things with open source, Mike is. I just saw an email from Mike or from Montreux, who said that I don't know if he's reviewed fixed the pull request or not. But one of the things that I have to deal with in open source is that when you look at the code that gets changed, it's not always done the way you want it to be done, but it's done. And that's kind of awesome. It's just like having employees. They don't always do things exactly the way that you want them to, but they do them, and you're kind of like, well, given that that took me 0 seconds, I think I'll take that. Assign Montreux 1981. Default blame acceptor says if it's not broke, don't fix it. I agree. I was talking with Eve. Eve was talking about, why don't you get everything, perfectly right from your people? Because sometimes I'll subcontract things out, or I'll have an employee do something. And she's like, why is that? That's not exactly the way you wanted it. And I turned to Eve and I was like, you know how right now there's these problems, this, and this in TikTok? This isn't right on the TikTok videos, and this isn't right on the TikTok videos. And Eve starts to get a little nervous because Eve is the one doing the TikTok videos. And Eve was like, yeah. And I'm like, exactly. Synbleed, no, not at all. I've never heard of either of those on Postgres. And it doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means I haven't heard of them. All right, so there we go. So that's that one. We have one more, and Montreux did leave a comment on it. Montreux says, I'll look at it tomorrow. European time. Okay, perfect. I'll give him a reaction there. Thumbs up. So there we go. That is everything outstanding in the pull request. Henrik Stein Paulson just needs to change a couple of temp table names, and then we're going to take it. Once he tells us what they are, I just don't know what they are. And Mike will, or Montreux. I have a friend named Mike Montreux, which is why whenever I look at Montreux 81, I immediately think of Mike. It's not even spelled that way, but it's just Montreux. It's like Canadian, but it immediately makes me think of that. This guy's name could actually be Mike. I don't even know. And then mine that I'm working on long term. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think we're good there. I'm going to glance at the issues list just to see if there's anything I need to talk about. So SP Blitz, duplicate rows in availability groups output. Let's see what the last note was. Okay. So I'll show you this. So right now, there's a check in SP Blitz that if you have a bunch of availability groups on the same server, like hundreds of availability groups on the same server, we'll run out of space to show them all. And the stupid part is that we're just showing the primary and secondary server names, if I remember right. So it's this query right here that's involved. And he says, I'm not familiar with AGs, but we just really need a distinct in this query right here. And that makes perfect sense. I'm not entirely sure with distinct there. He says, it seems like we need just a distinct. I'm going to leave that there. I'm actually going to remind him of the call. Go TQN. Can you test to see if adding a distinct there fixes it? If so, I'll do the pull request. Thanks. And then comment. Let's look at the issues and see if there's anything else. Doug says, inHDB, run only for a writable comment for the database. I think so. I like the sounds of this. Doug Taft. This is an enhancement for SP inHDB. This makes total sense. We'd love a pull request for it. Thanks. Comment. And then see if there's anything else that's going on there that needs my... Nope, that's it. That is all we need for attention for now. Yay! So there we go. So that'll be the end of the first responder kit stuff for today. I'll tackle SynBleed's question there, and then we'll break for the day. SynBleed says, we have SQL Server as a data warehouse, but we need a bulk migration to the cloud using ETL to merge data from SQL Server, Hadoop. Any expert thoughts on this approach? Go check with Andy Leonard of EntDNA, ENTDNA.com, like Enterprise DNA. EntDNA.com. Andy does data warehousing, moving data from one place to the other. He does stream on Twitch from time to time. I think it's been a while since he streamed, but you can email him through EntDNA.com and go ask him the question from there. I don't touch nothing against Hadoop or Presto. I just don't use them. I just focus on the SQL Server engine in terms of performance tuning. So that'll give you a place to get started there. All right, that is it for today's office hours. I don't know that I'm going to be streaming again this week. What's today? Today's Thursday. Oh, yeah, no, definitely not. Friday. I do have tomorrow off, quote unquote. I don't have any client stuff scheduled for tomorrow. I originally did. I had a client both today and tomorrow, but then I solved their problems within 30 minutes, and I was like, go with God. So they're going to put in those changes that I showed them and then get back to me in a week or two, make sure that it worked okay. DK Kimbo says, so my Google foo says that instant file initialization was added to the DMV in 2012 SP4. RDS supports 2014 up. Oh, that's cool. I don't think it was in 2014 RTM either. Just to check. I think it was even a build in 2014, which is kind of messed up. But also just to say, SP Blitz supports all versions going back to 2014 for sure. 2012, we try not to break. We try to still support it. We try just not to write things that are broken. But I'm with you in that I really would like that check to be a lot easier because it's kind of convoluted now. All right, so we will stop there. I hope y'all have a wonderful weekend. Oh, that's the other thing I was going to say. So the hot tub's all up and running now, and I wanted to do an office hours from the hot tub. That won't be tomorrow, just because the question and answer queue is empty. It'll probably be next week. Next week, I'm actually flying to Sonoma, California, to learn how to drive race cars. Woohoo! I am driving, taking a Skip Barber driving class where you race around a Mustang GTs all day and have a good old time learning how to drive quickly. I have no experience driving race cars. I drove go-karts as a kid, mostly in anger, or mostly in fun, not as much in anger. But so that'll be very funny. So I will see y'all at the next office hours. Adios, y'all.